Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I'll be guiding you through a slow flow 60-minute yoga class. Let's start out coming to tabletop and just sinking our hips back into the heels, toes together, knees are far apart. Bring your arms down to the mat and your head sinks down into the mat for a child's pose. Going to just connect with our breath here for a few moments. Breathing nice, long, slow, steady breaths through the nose. You can take a alternate to child's pose where you bend your arms at the elbows, bring your hands back behind your head for a nice long deep stretch through the triceps, kind of giving your shoulders a little bit of a break as well. And just let your head sink nicely down into the earth. Focus on your breath. If your tailbone is popping up, you want to keep that firmly planted into your heels. Don't forget to breathe through your nose and out your nose. And coming up onto all fours. Let's do some cat-cows. Sinking your belly low. And then rounding the spine, head goes down. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head down. Rounding that back, curling the chin towards the chest. Inhale, coming back up. Should feel wonderful for your back and your spine, the whole axis of the body. Hands are just firmly planted into the mat. Knees are shoulder width apart. Breathing is steady. And exhale, round the back. Good, and then coming back to neutral, we're going to raise that right arm up to the sky. Take a look at it up in the sky and then thread it down through the needle. So the lower part of your body is in puppy pose and your shoulder is just tucked in. Your other arm is spread nice and long above your head. if that's comfortable, or go ahead and bring it down towards your face, whichever you prefer. Noticing the breath being rhythmic. You never want to lose the breathing. Feeling a nice stretch through the shoulder. The back is nice and long. Spine is nicely stretched. Your supporting arm is nice and long, maybe. Just getting a nice stretch through the arms, the back, the shoulders. And taking it back up to the sky and back down to all fours. Back in a tabletop position. And on the exhale, going to take our fingertips and spread them nice and wide outward. If you sit at a computer all day, this will be a great stretch for your hands and arms. Stretching those wrists, just gently rock back and forth, side to side. Back and forth. Come to center. Twist the arms back. Now your hands are facing your knees. And gently rock forward and backward. Nice and slow. Just a real gentle stretch for your wrists and palms. Go ahead and just do a counter stretch on the tops of the hands, just very quickly and gently. And we're going to take that other hand and stretch it nice and long up to the sky. And thread the needle now on the other side. On that exhale, you're just going to plant the opposite shoulder now into the ground, threading it through the hole. And reach the other arm out toward the front of your mat, nice and long. Great big stretch down the side, down the torso. Connect again with your breath, always making sure you're breathing through your nose and out your nose. And just sinking down into the mat, temple of your head, resting nicely on the mat. And take a nice little break here. Nice steady breaths. Feels so good. The great thing about yoga is it's not a one-size-fits-all. You don't need to do what your partner's doing. You have no competition. You're just trying to do your best, and every day is different. You might be excellent at yoga and very advanced, but one day you'll hit all the poses, and maybe the next day your body just won't be feeling it. Maybe it needs a little bit more of a rest and healing session. So this is a nice slow flow, but it also is a lot of gentle stretches. And let's take that arm back up to the sky and look at it, and then bring it back down. And let's pop those hips up. Come down on all fours. And slowly lower to the ground from a plank and into cobra. So let's square off those elbows. You're down on the forearms. Opening up your shoulders, your chest is nice and wide. You have an open heart, and your gaze is toward the side of your mat. Belly is sinking down into the earth. And your forearms are parallel to each other. Toes are extended back. Tops of your feet are on the mat. Squeezing with your glutes. Just pulling your heart away from the lower back. You can imagine right now that your collarbones are smiling, stretching the sides of your shoulders out. And just soften the face. Remember to have an attitude of gratitude. Maybe smile a little bit here. There's always a reason to smile. When we think happy thoughts, we feel happy inside. Let's connect with that inner calm. And now take a deep exhale breath and come up into baby cobra. That was Sphinx. Now we're in baby cobra. And then lower to the ground, and let's do several of these. Come up to baby cobra and back down. Nice and slow, breathing always. Back up and back down. One more time slowly. Inhale up. Exhale back down to the mat. Inhale up. Holding it, and slowly exhale down. And continue to draw the inner elbows to the ribs. Your heart away from the toes. Come up onto all fours and shooting those hips up to the sky. We'll take a down dog. Now let's make it a wide leg variation called gentle down dog. Taking the toes out, still being long and straight down the spine, arms out. Let's open up the fingers nice and wide. Weight evenly spread through the hands and the feet. Pressing those heels into the mat. And remember to breathe. You're nice and steady. Drawing those hips up to the sky. And maybe pedal the feet, getting a nice stretch through the calves. Neck is long, maybe you're looking toward the hands. Getting rid of all the tension. And slowly walk the hands back. Bring your feet shoulder width apart, maybe a little closer. And let's do a half lift. Inhale up to half lift. Hands are on the shins. Spine nice and flat and long. And then inhale, exhale, forward fold. Hands reaching maybe the ankles. Back up to half lift. Exhale back down. Let's do this several times. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Relax. Let's do this several more times. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Maybe you have a micro bend in the knees. That's fine. Still warming up. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And let's take a rag doll. Just letting the weight of your body drop down through the head, grabbing your elbows, rocking gently back and forth. Just getting a nice good stretch down the hamstrings, the glutes, the calves, the spine. Just really hanging and bouncing as much as you'd like, especially with your hamstrings. Now rolling up one vertebrae at a time, up into mountain pose. Rolling the shoulders, shoulders up. On the inhale, exhale, relax the shoulders. And hands come to prayer right in front of your heart. Slowly step forward to the top of your mat. Taking your time, no rush, no hurries, no worries at all. And just breathing. From here, let's close our eyes. Feel connected back to your heart and your chest. Maybe breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe set an intention for the practice. Maybe think about a loved one who's having a difficult time, sending good positive energy their way. Taking our hands up, reach up to the sky, and exhale, forward fold. And then flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back down to forward fold. Inhale, slowly up, arms come circular to the top, hands through prayer, and down to forward fold. One more time. Prayer, forward fold. Half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Hands back up. Half sun salutations, down through prayer, forward fold on the exhale. And let's reach our hands on an inhale up behind our hand or behind our back. We're going to clasp the fingers and stretch those arms behind your back. And breathing through it. Maybe our shoulders are really tight. And remember to breathe. Stretching those shoulders, maybe rock back and forth. And bending the arms, placing the hands on the hips and standing up straight. Slowly come back to standing. Inhale, hands above the head. And let's take a stretch to one side. Inhale at the center, exhale to the side. Stretching the rib cages across, lengthening that torso down the one side. And let's come back to the middle on the inhale. Same thing on the other side. Exhale, lean to the other side, stretching across that side of the body. Breathing into those ribs. Standing nice and tall, crown pulling toward the sky. This will feel really good. Come back to center. Now let's go back to the other direction. This time we're taking a twist toward the side, lifting up and back. Let's take a little arch, still twisting at the side. And back to center. Inhale, other side. Stretching to the side, but also arching the back somewhat. And stretching those hands up toward the sky. You're just making a nice long figure with your body. Exhale, back to center. And hands down to prayer on the exhale. Good. Now let's step our foot back toward the back of our mat. So we're in a nice wide stance. Hands are in prayer. Go ahead and release them. Roll the shoulders. Arms come to the sides in a nice T. Nice and wide like your feet. And now let's line up the heels. And you're going to reach to the side for a triangle. Arms still nice and long. Both legs are straight, and bring yourself down to grab hold of that one ankle, making a nice long vertical line from hand to hand. One hand on your ankle, maybe you grab a block, hold it in either direction if you need to bring the floor closer to you, or just go ahead and grasp your ankle. Top hand is reaching up toward the sky and your gaze follows. And you're feeling that nice stretch throughout the legs, throughout the side. Keeping those shoulders open, heart nice and open. Purifying your organs and tissues all the way down to the cells. Remember to breathe. Now let's extend that arm out so it becomes an extended triangle. Feeling that stretch nice and long, a nice horizontal line down the side and out through your arm. Just imagine a jolt of energy going from your hip all the way down to your fingertips. And let's bring it back up, arms out to a T. And other direction, let's take a reverse triangle. Opposite arm comes up toward the sky. You're reaching back, you're arching back. Remember to breathe. Sucking that belly in. Try to keep those shoulders open. That upper arm is nice and long, but the shoulder is dropped. Such a good stretch. Triangle is one of my all-time favorite poses. And let's take an exhale breath. Arms back to T. You want to turn your toes back parallel. And let's take a bind with the arms behind the back. Actually, let's support our lower back now. Let's act like we've got our hands in our back pockets somewhat, holding on to, just place to the low curve of your back, supported. We're going to go ahead and just take a little back bend. Look, stretch up and back. The head drops to the back of the room. Broad chest and shoulders, almost like you're reversing the effects of gravity. Just a nice spacious expansion through that chest and heart, filling up those lungs. And inhale, exhale, fold at the waist, hands come down to both ankles. You're now doing a wide leg forward fold. Grab hold of your toes with your peace fingers if you'd like, or maybe you're just holding the sides of your legs or your ankles, whatever you can do. You're feeling this stretch through the inner legs. It's an abductor stretch. You're really feeling it through those hamstrings and the spine. Continue to breathe. Maybe you're pulling yourself down more for an even deeper stretch, engaging those biceps. And release the hands back to the waist. Coming up, inhale. On the way back up, standing nice and tall. Let's take those arms back out wide. Inhale. Now let's turn the opposite toe toward the corner of the mat and take a triangle on the opposite side. And go ahead and grab hold of that ankle. The other arm comes up to the sky. Remember the nice long vertical line, hand to hand, stretching through the side of the torso. And you're taking a triangle again. Gaze is up to the sky toward your hand. Opening that heart and shoulders. You want to keep the shoulders nice and broad. Don't let it fall forward. And just surrender to the pose. Breathing nice and steady. You're doing great. Inhale, let's take a reach, extending that triangle pose. Nice horizontal stretch, nice horizontal line through the hand. Remember the jolt of energy coming through your hip, down your side, and out your fingers. Nice, long, straight line. Gaze is forward. Keeping that neck nice and long, no chins on the chest. Let's breathe through the mouth. And arm comes back up. Beautiful. Open up that palm. Let's take a reverse triangle. It's like a reverse warrior, although both legs are straight. And gaze is up toward that hand. Such a beautiful pose. Nice long stretch from the bottom heel out through that top hand. And arms come back up to neutral. And again, take our hands, our feet parallel to each other, and let's take a nice stretch back. Arms are open this time, and bending at the hips, come back down and grasp your ankles, and turning back to the side of your mat. And let's take it to a plank. Come down to your knees, and then back to plank. Slowly exhaling all the way down, belly to the mat. Inhale just like you did at the beginning of class, up to cobra. And on the exhale, push back up to tabletop on all fours. From here, we're going to stand at the tops of our knees, about shoulder width apart with our knees, and tuck the toes. Hands come up above our heads on an inhale. Exhale to the side, and that back arm is going to reach back and grab your heel. We'll take a half camel pose. Upper arm will do a nice arch, reaching back. Modified camel. If it feels too intense, you can always keep one hand on your hip if you can't reach that heel. Otherwise, the back hand is holding on to your heel and the upper arm is just arching back or reaching straight up. Your gaze is toward your hand. Continue to breathe. This is such a good stretch, giving us more length in our lower back, less compression. And exhale, let's come up. Reach the arms out, take a twist, stretch. Inhale, arms up together. Exhale, opposite side. And let's grab hold of that other heel with the opposite hand. Reaching that upper hand back. Always reaching up and back. Spine nice and long. Chest open. Let's keep the heart open. Gaze is up toward the upper hand. And breathe. Let's reconnect with our breath. Yoga is all about the breath. It's the most important aspect of yoga, is to regulate the nervous system through our breathing pattern. Exhale, twist back forward, arms are up. And exhale, hands come down. Release the tops of the feet, and let's crawl forward. And bring your feet behind you. Go ahead and sit back. Go ahead and sit back, and we'll do a bound angle. Bringing the soles of your feet together, knees out. Feet coming close to your body. Grasping the hands, or grasping the feet with both hands. And breathing in, slowly leaning forward. Nose comes down to the floor, head to the floor, round the back. Reaching forward with the crown of your head and releasing down. Pressing those knees towards the mat. Both sits bones nice and even on the ground. And return to your breath, in through the nose and out through the nose. On the inhale, Sit up nice and tall, crown coming forward, and exhale. Maybe release a little more toward the ground. Maybe do that a few times through the first couple of breaths and settle into the pose. Trying to get closer and closer to that mat with your head or your nose. Whatever's comfortable for you. Maybe just check in with your body. Make sure the neck is long. Hips are firmly on the ground. Pressing those knees outward. And release up. Legs come forward, shake them out a little bit. And scooch down to your back, rolling back, grabbing the knees, hugging it out, rocking back and forth a few times, giving that lower back a nice massage. Bring the feet to the mat. Go ahead and reach toward your heels, grasping your heels with your feet, and pop those hips up to the sky, shoulders planted deep into the ground, and you're doing a bridge pose. So lots of glutes and hamstrings here, quads engaging all of the muscles, incorporating the back, the abs, even the arms, grasping those heels. Remember to breathe. In through the nose and out through the nose. You want your legs parallel. If they start to come together, you want to pull them apart, but keep them parallel, always squeezing with the glutes. Maybe raise the heels off the ground for a little variation. And release to the ground. Hug it out and come back up. Actually, let's lay back on our back. We're going to take the right foot and bring it up to the left knee. And bring the knee toward your chest. You're going to thread the arms through the legs and grab hold of either your shin or your knee. And inhale. On the exhale, bring the knee closer to your body. Let's go ahead and flex the feet. Always breathing. Squeezing those legs toward your torso, giving it a nice deep stretch through that hip and the glute. And settle into the pose. And release. Let's take the other leg up and pull it back. Thread the arms through the whole of the legs, grasping the other shin or the knee, and pulling it gently down toward your chest. Inhale, exhale, bring it in even closer. Flex the feet, giving your legs a nice deep stretch through the hamstrings, the hip, and release gently to the ground. Maybe bring the arms overhead for a nice long stretch. Back to your hands, back to your waist. And just return to your breath. Let's do an inward teepee where the heels come out but the knees fall together. And just breathe. Maybe bring the hand to the heart and the other hand onto your navel. Just feel your heartbeat, feel the breath entering and exhaling through your body. Go ahead and sit up. Going to grab a bolster or a pillow. If you have a blanket, I'm grabbing just a yoga blanket, maybe a bolster for my head. I'm going to take legs up the wall. In my case, I'll just do it up against this dresser, scooting my tailbone nice and close to that dresser so the legs are right upward toward the sky, releasing my arms back, just gently laying back on the bolster or pillow. You don't really need anything for your head, but if you have something soft, that's always nice. And go ahead and just settle into your breath. Such a nice cleansing posture with the legs above the heart. Helps with swelling and inflammation. Legs up the wall is an excellent thing to do 20 to 30 minutes a day, especially if you're like me and you suffer from inflammation in the legs at all, any circulation issues. It really does wonders for that. So I've got my arms cactused, just bending at the elbows, nice and relaxed, released, just surrendering into the pose and finding my breath. And bring the legs down. Going to cross the legs, bring one over the other. For a shoelace, a reclined shoelace, you're grasping your feet with your hands so your knees are crisscrossed and you're just releasing, pulling them down towards your chest a little. Knees are just stacked perfectly over each other. It's a great stretch for the hips, the hamstrings. And just settle in for a few minutes. Inhale and exhale through the nose. And the legs come back up on the exhale and inhale. Let's cross to the other side. Binding those feet, pulling them down towards your hips. Knees stacked nicely over each other. And just pulling down towards your body, giving them a nice stretch. And don't forget to breathe. Legs come back up. We'll take it down with a butterfly to the wall. And soles of the feet come together. You release the knees down to both sides. Maybe use your hands to push those knees out. Give them some resistance against the wall. If you can, let yourself take a deeper stretch that way. Inhale and exhale. Push them back a little further toward the wall or the dresser in my case. It's great for hip opening. Make sure your back is just flat on the ground, shoulder blades pressing into the earth. Always breathing nice and steady. Eyes are closed for more relaxation, more focus. Maybe visit your intention for the rest of your day or your week. Check in with your thoughts. Are they positive? Do they give you a good feeling or a bad feeling? If they're negative, just flip them. Flip them as fast as they come into your mind and kick them right out. And replace it with something positive. Positive self-talk is so important. Makes such a difference. And now let's go ahead and release our legs back up and slowly come to our side. Move our props out of the way. And just come up onto our knees, back to the center of your mat. Maybe roll out the shoulders. Make any adjustments. And come to the side for tabletop. We're going to do nice, big, wide circles with our hips. Just kind of shake it out. Around and around. Let's go in the other direction now. Big, slow circles with our hips. Forward, side, backward, round and round. Inhale and exhale. And come into the seated position. Let's bring our legs out. Bend one leg, straighten the other. Arms come up. And nose to knee. Bending down. This is the head on knee pose. Janu Sarasana. It's a great seated position. Opens the hips. Relieves stiffness in the neck. It's part of the hot yoga sequence that I love so much. It's a great warm-up if you're a runner. Maybe on the inhale, you come up and switch legs. Let's do it again on the other side. Arms up, inhale, exhale, forward, grasping that foot, bringing yourself closer to the ground with your nose. It's great for the lower back, the hamstrings, the hips, the gluteus, the abs. It's engaging the arms. And remain here for a few more breaths. Maybe come up on all fours, hands to hips. Roll out those shoulders, roll your neck out. Just kind of shake it out. We're going to take a full camel pose now and come back with our hands to heels, arching the back. Neck is released. You want to pretend like the front of your body is up against the wall. Pretend as if your hips need to stay up against that wall, and you release all the way back, grasping your heels with your hands and releasing the neck softly and breathing. And inhale, come back up. And let's slowly come down. And we'll go ahead and sit back onto our heels. Holding onto our heels, we're going to take a tortoise. So we bend forward, crown of the head comes down to the mat. We're rounding our entire back. Pop that tailbone up, still grasping the feet with your hands. This is the longest your spine will be all day. Don't forget to breathe. And release. Come back up. And slowly bringing our feet out front, knees are up. Let's roll down vertebrae by vertebrae and lie the legs out in front of you. Arms come to the sides of your mat, and you will take a Shavasana. And just focus on your breath for the next several minutes. Settle into the pose. You will just be nice and relaxed. This is probably the most at peace and relaxed you will feel all day. So take this time to clear out your mind of any worries or stresses, of any to-do lists, and just breathe nice and steady. Close the eyes. Notice the sensations in your body. Notice how the top of the head feels, how your ears feel. Your face is soft. No clenching the teeth or the jaw. Tongue is on the roof of your mouth. And just breathe. Navel is to the spine. Hips are nice and flat on the mat. Thighs are relaxed. The knees, feet are turned outward towards the outsides of your mat, just nice and gentle. Breathing naturally. It's also known as the corpse pose. Maybe bring your hand to your heart and the other one to your navel. Feel your heartbeat, feel the breath enter and leave your body. Just calm yourself. Remember that everything is okay. It's not going to be okay. It already is okay. You're right where you need to be today, in this moment. Things always work out. Think about all the gratitude that you feel for those in your life that support you and love you. The gratitude you feel for having a roof over your head, a car to drive, a job maybe, all the things in life that you're grateful for. Friends, family, and just feel happy and peaceful. Don't think of any lack. Think of the abundance that you have in your life. All things positive. Our thoughts matter. What we say to ourselves matter. And bring the arms down to the sides of the mat again. Nice and relaxed. And we'll just finish corpse pose with a few more breaths. Just imagine your body melting into the ground. Feel the energy flow through your body. The heart is relaxed, but still active. In through the nose and out through the nose. Just a nice natural breathing pattern. Maybe wiggle the toes, wiggle the hands, shake the legs, wiggle your eyes, your nose, and come up into seated position. Either into easy pose or half lotus. Come to the center of your mat. Arms come up to the center, look up to the sky and reach forward toward the mat, head to the mat. Nice long stretch through the spine. Now let's take it to the left side or the right side. Stretching out your side, coming back to the center and to the other direction now. Such a great stretch down the torso. And come back to center, roll out the shoulders, the neck, arms up, and let's stretch out the side, reaching your arm nice and tall. Come down to your forearm on the other hand, and just stretch nice and long through the side, opening up those rib cage. Take a wrap with that upper arm, just bringing it back behind your back, and then come back up to a T and a center, and let's go back on the other side, reaching nice and long, keeping those legs bound together. Let's take a wrap with that upper hand, take it nicely behind your back, bring it back up, come to center, and release the arms down to the mat. And from here, bring our hands to the heart, and we'll do some Ujai breathing, otherwise known as the victorious breath. We're going to breathe in through our nose, and then we'll breathe out through our mouth. Go ahead and close your eyes. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in, opening the mouth. Nice lion's breath out. Breathe in and out through the mouth, and just continue to do that, keeping the eyes closed. Go ahead and bring your hand up. Notice the breath coming in, nice and cold. And as you breathe out onto your hand, you notice how warm your breath is. So it comes in cold and leaves your body hot. And do that a few more times. And hands back down, just continue the breath. This is relaxing the nerves and energizing the muscles. And we'll bring our hands to heart, open your eyes. bring our thumbs up to our forehead for clear thoughts, purity of mind, and down to our lips for kind words and soft-spokenness, and to our chest and our heart for a heart of gratitude and giving love to all those we come in contact. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today.